Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Gaming for XP, and yes, my head's back on camera. Thought I'd do a quick review on Anthem. Anthem drops in a couple of weeks on February 22nd. As a few of you will know if you've watched the channel, there was a demo back at the start of February. I've probably done about 5 or 6 hours gameplay, and so I'd like to do a little bit of a review, give you my honest opinion on the game. And get your feedback how your experiences were as well. So we'll give you a fairly in-depth look at it, and we'll catch you in a minute. See ya. So this review is based on my personal experiences during the game, and you know, I had the great opportunity to play the demo for about probably 3 days, totaled about maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours during a 3-day stint. And I will be including information by Electronic Arts official site and IGN's review of this game in this guide, and hopefully it gives you a rounded view. So what is the story of Anthem? Well, Anthem is set on a mysterious planet. This planet is littered with futuristic technology, which was designed by a group that are long gone called the Shapers, who used to use this technology, which is very, very powerful. And they nicknamed this the Anthem of Creation. So at some point the Shapers have gone, they've left the world unfinished, and unfortunately for humanity, all this godlike technology has fallen into the wrong hands, basically. And so we start our journey at a place called Fort Tarsis, and the only people that can go out into the world are freelancers in their exosuits, which are called javelins. And so that's the kind of background of the game, and our starting point as a player. We start a journey in Fort Tarsis, which is where we are now, and you can see, you can have a good look around. There's people to interact with. This is a staging point, and really the end game for you as a player is really to graduate as a recruit, the old fresh-faced recruit, learn how all the various things work, and then work on customizing your character with the best gear that you can find, the best weapons you can find, and venture into the higher and higher, more difficult levels of the game. And there, as you're going to see, there is a ton of things that you're going to find. There's a ton of modifications that you can make to your javelin. There are a number of different types of javelin, so there's a lot to this game, and it should be one that will keep you busy for a while. So as far as game modes go, you obviously have your missions, and obviously with the demo you were limited to 3 missions, which we played through. The missions are pretty smooth, and the NPCs are good. I like they do have a great storyline. I really did enjoy working my way through the missions and just getting out and learning how the characters work and how the environment looks. And you can see there's a whole lot of good things that I like. These waypoints that show you exactly where you need to go with the mission. Although sometimes I found when you get to where you're going, it wasn't always clear what you were supposed to do, and there was a few parts of certain missions where we're in a team of 4 and we're kind of all scratching our heads what we're supposed to do next. But again, this was a demo, so I know that might be fixed up based on feedback. The second game mode is called Strongholds, and Strongholds is described by EA as the most difficult adventure in Anthem. Strongholds are similar to dungeons but are longer and more challenging, designed to push your skills to their absolute limits. Strongholds repay your bravery for even greater rewards. The Strongholds are the most demanding challenge available to only the experienced freelancers. You'll need to take them on with a full squad. So that's really designed for multiplayer, squad of 4, working together. So and I'd suspect there are 4 different javelins, which we'll get into in a bit, so you're probably going to have different abilities to be able to go through those. And the third game mode, and the one that I played and had the most fun with, was actually free play. Free play is great. It's basically getting out and roaming around in the world, and just seeing what you can find. You discover lots and lots of secrets. You find lots and lots of areas in the world, and it really does help to tune how your javelin works and how your ability work and stuff. And I learned a lot, probably the most, at the 7 hours that I played by going into free play and playing around with it. So talking about javelins, javelins are basically your exosuits, and there's 4 different types, as you can see here. We have the Ranger, Storm, Colossus and Interceptor, and we'll go through each of these and give you basically what each of these do, and explain them a little bit to you, and then I'll show you a little bit of how you can customize them. So the Ranger is really the first javelin you're going to experience. That's the one that everybody gets to start the game with. It's precise, it's versatile, it's pretty much an all-rounder as far as combat goes, and that's the one that you'll train on. It's just the most versatile, and it helps you just master how it works. Now, when I was playing the game, I managed to graduate to the Storm Javelin, and I didn't get any further than that. So there's 2 javelins I haven't played with, so I can't give you a feel for them, but the Ranger Javelin is pretty solid, I can say, and I had a lot of fun with it. Moving on, we have the Colossus Javelin, and basically that's the largest javelin of the 4, and you can see that quite clearly. This guy takes a heck of a lot of damage, but to offset that, he'd be a bit of a slower hulking war machine. Has a devastating siege cannon, and you know, obviously he's the guy that you would send in first to do some clearing. Has a whole lot of heavy arms, and also has a flamethrower, I believe, some jet propulsion, all kinds of stuff. So that's the Colossus. Next one is the Storm Javelin, and this is probably my favourite so far of the 2, the Ranger and the Storm, that I was able to play around with. This one really relies on technology. Can float quite effortlessly above the ground and unleash all kinds of different abilities on his enemies, and you would see this in the game footage I'm showing you now, which was the free play footage. He has unbelievable amounts of energy and defense capabilities, and I just found for an all-round javelin, this one suited me the best. And then finally we have the Interceptor Javelin. Might not be as imposing as something like the Colossus, but still packs a punch. The Interceptor excels at getting up next to enemies and dealing damage, and then dashing away. So you can get up in melee and whatnot and get away fairly quickly. Has some powerful blades and very devastating abilities. So I haven't had a chance to play with that one, but that one certainly sounds very interesting. And you'll unlock all 4 of these as you play through the game, and make sure, I would say, just try these out and see what happens with them. Now, as far as customizing these javelins, I'll show you a little bit of footage that I took when I was customizing mine, because the system is pretty good at helping you customize the overall look of your javelin to the way you like. This is a screen you'll get very familiar with. You access it through the Forge, and this allows you to do all kinds of customization to weapons, to your exosuit, to your abilities, all kinds of stuff. I'm showing you here basically some of the options that you have just to make your character look a bit more unique, and you can see there's a whole lot of kind of textures that you can play with that give it a different look, and we'll get into paint in a second, and you can change you'll see fairly shortly you can change all the different colors of the different elements of your exosuit, and really just play around with this, and you'll get something that kind of suits your personal preferences. And it's just one of those things. It takes you a while to just figure out how it all works, but once you do, it's pretty straightforward. And I think it's a pretty smart interface they've come up with. I do like it a heck of a lot, and the number of things that you customize is huge, to be honest. You could spend an hour in here just getting your javelin right, and of course with each of these separate javelins you can customize them in a different way if you like, or make them look similar if you like. So moving on to the weapons, and you'll get a ton of weapons in this game. There are just so many to pick from, it's not funny. So I worked through a number of weapons. I've tried assault rifles, I've tried pistols, I tried the sniper rifle, and also the shotguns, and they're all pretty solid, I must admit. The weapons that I found and got rewarded with, and you do get rewarded after missions with a kind of combination of weapons, abilities, resources, etc. And so you're not going to be starved for choice in this game. You'll find weapons that will suit what you want to do, and you can also find blueprints, upgrade weapons. There's a whole raft of things. How did the weapons go? How did I find the weapons? I found the aim down sight of the weapons pretty good. The hit detection is good. I did have a few issues with the snipers finding their target, but once you find your target, and so there's when I say find your target, you kind of ADS, aim down sight, and locking onto the target, and it actually has to highlight the enemy, and sometimes that was a bit hit and miss to find the actual enemy. Once it finds the enemy, the hit detection is pretty good, and the damage on the snipers is incredible. He combined the weapons, and the weapons are pretty solid, and you can see this is locking onto targets for me like instantly. Combine it with the movement that you have, and you have some flying movement and you have some hovering movement with the javelins, and it makes for a very fast-paced, very fun game. There is a cooldown rate on both your flying ability, the distance that you can travel, like Iron Man, the human bowling ball, before it overheats, and that varies from javelin to javelin. And the same is true of hovering. Some javelins, like the Storm that we're seeing here, can hover for longer periods, where something like the Colossus, which is heavier, I'm guessing doesn't hover quite as long. But I found it pretty good, and the more you get into it and the more you get used to the overall mechanics, the better it is. I found it very, very smooth, and I enjoyed it a heck of a lot. So hopefully this has been a good kind of first look at Anthem and some of the things that you'll get into if you buy the game. Do I recommend the game? I had a heck of a lot of fun on this. A heck of a lot of fun. There wasn't too much I could find at fault. And again, keeping in mind it is a demo, I think a couple of the things that I didn't like, the load screens are a bit too long for me between in transitional areas. I think that's a minor point. I did get a little bit of glitching with the very last mission that I played, where I had to basically dump the game and reload it. Again, it's a demo, so hopefully they'll tidy all that up. But overall, I found this a very, very exciting game. I've actually pre-ordered it, and I'm looking forward to bringing it on the channel. So I hope this helps you. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you do, as always, a like is appreciated. It really does help out the channel. And if you want to see more Anthem and more kind of games on the channel, we have a ton coming up in the next few weeks, a ton of new games. I would love you to subscribe and continue to support Gaming for XP. Anyway guys, that's all I had to say on Anthem. enjoy, if you decide to purchase, enjoy the game, and I'll see you whenever, if you want to play with me. I'll leave my gamer tag down below and we can hook up if you are interested. Thanks for watching, catch you next time on the channel. See ya.